how NCERT is planning to bring about these changes.
एनसीईआरटी की किताबें पूरे देश के लिए हैं, पूरे देश के बारे में हैं। क्या अच्छी बातें छोड़ करके ये सब लड़ाई झगड़े की बातें ही बच्चों को पढ़ानी चाहिए क्या? बच्चों को इस प्रकार से पढ़ाना चाहिए कि वो समाज में घृणा पैदा करें या घृणा के शिकार बने? क्या वो एजुकेशन का पर्पज है क्या? वी टीच हिस्ट्री फॉर नोइंग अबाउट द फैक्ट्स, नॉट मेकिंग इट ए बैटल ग्राउंड।
Hello and welcome to PTI's show at 4 Parliament Street. The foundation of India's school education system is laid by the National Council of Education, Research and Training, or the NCERT. The Autonomous Council is currently undertaking a massive task of revising the grade 1 to 12 curriculum after almost 2 decades. However, the NCERT has also faced criticism that it is rewriting history textbooks and is being selective about it. To talk about the changes underway in the education system, we have with us the NCERT Director, Professor Dinesh Prasad Saklani. Professor Saklani took over as the Director in February 2022. Before that, he was the head of the Ancient History Department at Garhwal University. Professor Saklani, welcome to PTI.
Thank you for inviting me.
You have been at the helm of NCERT for 2 years now, and your term has coincided with the new education policy. So can you tell us a little bit about how NCERT is planning to bring about these changes?
Yeah. As you see that the NEP, National Education Policy 2020, was unfolded on 29 July 2020. So after that, the execution part starts. Policy is a document which has to be executed and transformed and translated on the ground. So on that basis, the first thing was to prepare the national curriculum frameworks. There are 4 national curriculum frameworks through which the NEP is being implemented. 2 have already been prepared. National Curriculum Framework for Foundational Stage was released on 20th October 2022, and based on that, the foundational stage learning teaching material has been brought out. As you know that the Jadui Pitara is a new pedagogical tool through which we ensure the transition from the rote learning to the experiential learning, from stressful learning to stress-free learning and joyful learning. So the NEP says about that we must ensure the joyful learning and learn how to learn. That is possible through the experiential learning.
So on the one hand, rote learning is being phased out and experienced learning is being emphasized.
Yes.
At the same time, the curriculum is also changing. For a very, very long time, we had the same curriculum. You mentioned Bharat-centric curriculum.
Yes.
Just tell us a bit more about that.
Just, I have said that after policy, curriculum frameworks has come out. Curriculum framework is a wider thing. It is just not about the curriculum, but it is the framework, school culture, the whole gamut of all these, education related tools are there.
नहीं, पुराने करिकुलम में प्रॉब्लम क्या थी?
पुराने करिकुलम में प्रॉब्लम हमने बताया ये यूरोसेंट्रिक था। अपने देश के बारे में, अपने समाज के बारे में बच्चा नहीं समझता था, और जब हम इसकी बात करते हैं तो हम अपने प्राचीन समय की परंपरा में जाते हैं। आप देखिए, जो गुरुकुल व्यवस्था थी उसमें एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग थी। अपनी प्रकृति के बारे में, अपने समाज के बारे में, अपनी व्यवस्थाओं के बारे में, अपनी परंपराओं के बारे में, अपनी मान्यताओं के बारे में अगर हम नहीं समझ रहे हैं तो हम किसके लिए समझ रहे हैं, और हम किसके लिए नागरिकों को पैदा कर रहे हैं? क्या इसी का परिणाम ये होता है कि हम पढ़ लिख करके विदेश चले जाते हैं और अपने देश में इतना खर्चा करने के बाद फिर देश के काम नहीं आते हैं? तो आजकल इसलिए जो सबसे बड़ा कष्ट बच्चों को होता है, कितना देखिए बचपन उनका ख़त्म हो जाता है रटने में। माँ बाप भी, पेरेंट्स भी उनको लेकर के कितने परेशान रहते हैं, कितने स्ट्रेस में रहते हैं। और अल्टीमेट एम क्या हो रहा है? अगर बच्चे ने रट करके किसी तरह से IIT और इंजीनियर बन गया, डॉक्टर बन गया, अच्छा बन गया, तो विदेश चला जाएगा, और काम चला हुआ है तो भारत में रुक जाएगा।
आप कह रहे हैं कि इंडिया में जो जितने भी डॉक्टर्स हैं वो काम चला
ना,
हुआ है?
ऐसा नहीं कह रहा हूँ। मैं कह रहा हूँ ये हो रहा है काफ़ी कुछ कि जो बेस्ट, काफ़ी लोग बाहर चले जाते हैं। जाते हैं कि नहीं जाते हैं बताइए?
ब्रेन ड्रेन होता है।
बहुत ज़्यादा होता है। बहुत कम लोग ऐसे हैं जो ये सोचते हैं कि मैं बेस्ट हूँ और मैं यहीं रहूँगा। बहुत कम लोग ऐसे हैं जो ये सोचते हैं कि मैं सबसे अच्छा हूँ और मैं यहीं रहूँगा। तो वो क्या चीज़ है जो ऐसा सोचने पे मजबूर करती है? वो देश के प्रति जुड़ाव है, लगाव है। वो केवल इसलिए नहीं रहते हैं यहाँ कि पैसा कमाएँगे। वो इसलिए रहते हैं कि अपने समाज के बीच में अपने समाज के लोगों की सेवा करेंगे, और ये मूल्य आधारित शिक्षा ही ऐसा कर सकती है। तो इसलिए अप्रोच का जो बड़ा चेंज है, हमारी शिक्षा नीति साफ कहती है भारत केंद्रित शिक्षा, एंड वी हैव टू प्रोड्यूस कल्चरली रूटेड सिटीजन्स। They will be culturally rooted, but they will be capable of understanding the life skills of 21st century.
You also said that our scientific knowledge and our
Yes,
scientific
yes,
achievements
yes.
are not completely culturally rooted in our syllabus, at least.
जी, जी, जी। मैं ये कहता हूँ कि देखिए हमारा जो वेद हैं या शास्त्र हैं या जो भी चीज़ें उनमें लिखी गई हैं, अगर उनको प्रमाणित किया जाता है तो अब जगदीश चंद्र बसु ने पेड़-पौधे जीवित हैं, सुख-दुःख महसूस करते हैं, ये बताया ना। मगर वेदों में क्या लिखा हुआ है? वेदों में पेड़ों की पूजा करने की बात की गई है। क्यों? पूजा का मतलब क्या होता है? उनको महत्व देना। उनको जीवित माना गया है ना, तो प्रूफ हो गया। ऐसे ही पाइथागोरस की बात आती है। अब पाइथागोरस बौधायन सूत्र से निकला है। ये प्रमाणित हो चुका है, और हम अभी पाइथागोरस के नाम से पढ़ाते हैं। तो भारत की जो परंपरा, ज्ञान परंपरा थी, देखिए वो कैसे जो विदेश से लोग आते थे, सिकंदर आए, उनके साथ यूनानी लोग आए, उससे पहले और विदेशी लोग आते रहते थे, वो यहाँ कुछ समझते थे, सीखते थे, बाहर चले जाते थे। फिर अरबों अरबों के संपर्क में आए, तो अरबों के पास हमारा नंबर सिस्टम गया, वहाँ से फिर वो वेस्ट में चला गया। तो बहुत सारे लोग उसको अरब का मानते हैं, मगर सब भारत से गया है वो सब चीज़ें। ये प्रामाणिक चीज़ें हैं, तो कहीं से भी गया है, पर दुनिया के काम आ रहा है। इस पे कोई दो राय नहीं है कि नॉलेज किसी एक डोमेन या किसी एक की मोनोपोली नहीं है। नॉलेज इज़ नॉलेज।
The new curriculum framework was notified last year. So, where has the work reached? And when will new textbooks for all classes be ready? And what about the issue of shortage of textbooks?
I have said that we have brought out two curriculum frameworks. One is National Curriculum Framework for foundational stage. All the textbooks and learning teaching material out of that has been disseminated, and it is now in practice. As far as the National Curriculum Framework for school education is concerned, that was brought out in August 2023. After that, we are on job, and this year we are bringing out two grades textbooks. Grade 3, that is the beginning of the preparatory stage, because we completed the foundational stage last year. After that, it is, transitioning is very easy, very smooth for the students. So we have brought out the new textbooks and learning teaching material for grade 3. And the another grade 6, that is the beginning of the middle stage. So we are targeting that class 6 textbooks and learning teaching material.
तो एक तरह से आप क्रांति ला रहे हैं एजुकेशन सिस्टम में।
जी, एनईपी का मैंडेट ही ये है कि हमें पूरा ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन करना है, और कोई भी पॉलिसी अच्छी होती है तब जब वो रियली में इम्प्लीमेंट होती है। और इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का पार्ट क्या है, रियल टारगेट क्या है, फोकस क्या है, स्टूडेंट। हम पेरेंट्स को कॉन्फिडेंस मिले, हम टीचर को ट्रेंड करें, और वो दोनों जो है मिलकर के बच्चे को इनेबल करें, और हमारे पास जो भी लर्निंग टीचिंग मटेरियल है वो इस प्रकार का हो कि जो बच्चे को कनेक्ट करे, कनेक्ट अपने आप से करे, कनेक्ट फैमिली से करे, कनेक्ट सोसाइटी से करे, कनेक्ट नेचर से करे, नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज से करे, तो वो फिर एक बेस्ट ग्लोबल सिटीजन वो बनेगा। और वही एनईपी का टारगेट है, वही हम करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
So basically, in the past 2 years, there have been several rounds of revisions in the NCRT textbooks, and the rationale behind the revisions have been criticized also. So, I wanted to understand what is the rationale, of course, from your end, and what do you think about the criticism as well?
Okay, so you are talking about that rationalization, process and exercise. So it was basically started due to COVID pandemic, because during COVID, you know how much the students suffered and parents suffered. What was the status, agony of mind at that time? You can understand the mental condition, trauma which we all faced at that time. When the school opened, then it was realized that with all that, can the learning loss be covered through these existing textbooks? Is it not will be too heavy to students to retain that, or the teachers? There was a lot of learning loss. It was not only learning loss, not only time loss, but it was learning loss. So, how to bring things smoothly to happen? So, for that purpose, it was prudently thought, and it was the government also realized that let us help our suffering students and parents and teachers. How that can be possible? To minimize the burden. For that, NCERT did that exercise. NCERT invited the experts, pedagogues, practice teachers, and they scrutinized that what can be reduced out of the existing textbook syllabus. So they realized that if there is some repetition, that repetition should be done away with. If we have read something in class 8, then again in class 9th we are reading that, we should minimize that. So that practice was like that. That's why it was called rationalization. Revision thing is different. Revising the syllabus is annual features, regular feature. You know, if we are having some new things, should we not take those to the students through our books? Data is changing, we are getting new data, we cannot stick to old data. New knowledge is being generated every day. So we take it is annual exercise of NCERT, and not only NCERT, in universities also there are board of studies. Every year they sit and they see. It is not only in India, it is global practice. It is in the good taste of the education that we revise, infuse new knowledge in our existing system. How it can be brought out? It can be brought out through regular revision of the textbooks. So that exercise is there. If something is erroneous there, or we find that we have brought out textbooks, a lot of processes are there, a slip of pen may be there. So should we not remove that? So for that purpose, our experts sit every year, they take note of the books, we get feedback from the society, from the stakeholders, lot of feedbacks come, we analyze those feedbacks and we give those feedbacks to the expert committees. You look after these, take these. If society and stakeholders are pointing out something, it is our duty to listen to them, to understand why they are saying this, what is the problem with us. If we are doing something wrong and we are not realizing that, but some outsiders are pointing out, no, you are not on right path. So we have to stop and look behind and take corrective measures. So for that purpose, not only in India, everywhere, this is a global practice that whenever we think that our books are outdated or our syllabus is outdated or we have some new ideas or new knowledge, we try to infuse that and eliminate the irrelevant things out of that. So that is the revision practice that to take place. And criticism, criticism is always there, for good or for bad also. And criticism is very important. And we are not against the criticism. We are for the criticism, and criticism brings new things.
So, Mr. Saklani, you talked about feedback from the society and the stakeholders. You also talked about criticism being welcome. So, I have a specific question. There have been allegations in the recent years of saffronization of the curriculum and subsequently the textbooks. There's equally another narrative saying previously the textbooks were influenced by the left ideology. So, your take on that, you can be very frank on this.
We mix up the things. We try to connect it with ideology. Where is the saffronization? I don't see anywhere. Because we are just talking about the knowledge. If people say, particularly about history, what is history? We have facts and we have interpretations. That's how historical knowledge is produced. Facts and evidence. Evidence, if new evidences are coming out, should we not go by them? If somebody has written a book 30 years back and he or she wants that this book should be always, it is sacrosanct, that it cannot be changed, that is his problem. It will be changed. If something new comes out, why will not change it? We'll change that, just as I said that if something has become irrelevant, the interpretation is very subjective, We try to make history objective. And objectivity is the spirit of history. History is a science, no less, no more. That has been said by a British historian. But history cannot be just like science. It is a social science. So interpretation counts a lot. If I am interpreting from some particular aspect, my viewpoint is something different. Another's can be different. Why not? We welcome criticism. That's why I said we welcome criticism. If they are criticizing it, so I don't see there is any separatization. I see that history is there to make people wise, not to create hatredness, disharmony. We teach history for knowing about the facts, not making it a battleground. So that is how I understand that role of a historian should be. Historian is a communicator, and that communication from the old ideas, traditions, we make aware the new generations. So it is a communicator between generations. So that communication should be eloquent enough, that communication should be effective enough, that communication should be strong enough to realize that what we had been. If I say about Indian knowledge system, where is the separatization there? I am talking about that. I am talking about the iron pillar at Mehroli. I challenge that any metallurgical scientist to develop that type of iron today. It is not possible. Nobody has developed. So should we not say that this metallurgical science was Indian science? We had that, we have produced that type of. If we say that, where is the separatization here? So that type of ideas we are bringing out on the basis of evidence and facts. If I have talked about the Bodhayana Sutra, Pythagoras, is that separatization? It has been proved. And why the Manjul Bhargava been awarded with the field medal? Why? Field medal, India has not given field medal, or this government has not given awarded field medal. It has been awarded by the, it is parallel to Nobel Prize. So this is false. This type of allegations, I don't go by them, and it is not my job. I just want to stick to the tradition which is promoting, which is producing the best global citizens who feel proud about their nation, who feel proud about themselves, whose self-esteem is very high. We don't want to produce disappointed or depressed citizens. We want to produce capable, positive, effective, and efficient citizens, not only for India, for the globe. So that is the purpose of that type of work we are doing.
प्रोफेसर सकलानी, यू सेड अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, आपने एक बात कही कि ये इरेलीवेंट चीज़ें हैं वो आप निकाल देना चाहते हैं करिकुलम से। तो उस संदर्भ में अगर एनसीईआरटी के टेक्स्ट बुक्स में जैसे गुजरात राइट्स हो गए या बाबरी मस्जिद डिमोलिशन या महात्मा गांधी का असैसिनेशन, वो तो इरेलीवेंट तो नहीं है मेरे ख्याल
नहीं,
से।
मैं ये कहता हूँ, देखिए महात्मा गांधी का असैसिनेशन हुआ, वो कहीं से नहीं निकला, वो है वहाँ। अब आप ये लिखें कि एक ब्राह्मण ने महात्मा गांधी का असैसिनेशन किया, ब्राह्मण नाथूराम गोडसे ने, तो आप सोसाइटी के बीच में, अब क्रिमिनल कैन बी एनीबॉडी। आपका फोकस क्या है? क्या ब्राह्मण सब क्रिमिनल हैं? आप क्यों वो चीज़ लिखना चाहते हैं उसमें? क्यों उस तरह की टिप्पणी करना चाहते हैं? ये तो नहीं हटाया हमने कि महात्मा गांधी को नाथूराम गोडसे ने मारा, इट इज़ देयर, ये नहीं हटाया। ब्राह्मण नाथूराम गोडसे ने मारा। आपका एम्फेसिस ब्राह्मण पे क्यों है? कोई भी किसी को मारता है, इतने सारे मर्डर हुए हैं, कैनेडी को नहीं मारा क्या किसी ने? क्या लिखा गया कि किसने मारा? उसकी जाति से या सरनेम से उसको पुकारा गया क्या? हिस्ट्री में और नहीं मारे क्या? और भी लोग मरे हैं, बहुत सारे लोगों को। तो क्या इस तरह की अप्रोच ठीक है कि हम पिन पॉइंटली किसी ग्रुप को टारगेट करें, पूरा एक व्यक्ति की उस वजह से किसी एक ने गलत किया और पूरे समाज को हम उसमें बदनाम कर दें? तो हमने निकाला, उसको ठीक निकाला। गुजरात राइट्स के बारे में भी जिक्र है, मगर उस गुजरात राइट्स के बारे में जिक्र करना है तो फिर पूरा सारे राइट्स हुए हैं, उनके बारे में जिक्र क्यों नहीं करते? 84 के राइट्स के बारे में जिक्र नहीं करते? क्या बच्चों को इस प्रकार से पढ़ाना चाहिए कि वो ऑफेंसिव बने? क्या बच्चों को इस प्रकार से पढ़ाना चाहिए कि वो समाज में घृणा पैदा करें या घृणा के शिकार बने? क्या वो एजुकेशन का पर्पज़ है क्या? तो वो तो बिल्कुल पर्पज़ नहीं है एजुकेशन का। तो फिर हम सारे राइट्स के बारे में पढ़ाएँगे इतने छोटे बच्चों को? जब वो बड़े हो जाएँगे तो अपने आप पढ़ जाएँगे, किताब में ही पढ़ाना क्या ज़रूरी है? अगर गुजरात राइट या कोई भी चीज़ है तो तमाम सारा इन्फॉर्मेशन उसके बारे में अवेलेबल है। और जो बच्चे बड़े हो जाते हैं, समझदार होते हैं, तो वो पढ़ेंगे तो उस लिंक करेंगे, क्यों हुआ, कैसे हुआ, क्या हुआ? लेट देम अंडरस्टैंड। पर इतनी छोटी-सी किताब में क्या ये सब चीज़ें पढ़ाने के लिए हैं किताब? एनसीईआरटी की किताबें पूरे देश के लिए हैं, पूरे देश के बारे में हैं, तो क्या अच्छी बातें छोड़ कर के ये सब लड़ाई झगड़े की बातें ही बच्चों को पढ़ानी चाहिए क्या? बच्चा अगर पढ़ेगा, उसका इंटरेस्ट होगा तो बाद में सब जगह अवेलेबल है। वो छोटी-सी किताब से अगर कुछ चीज़ कम कर दी गई है, तो उसके पीछे इतना ह्यू एंड क्राई अगर मचा रहे हैं हम, तो वो फिर समझ सकते हैं आप कि वो क्या है, ठीक है कि नहीं है। ये सब आप लोगों के ऊपर है, डिपेंड करता है कि आप लोग किस तरह उसको इंटरप्रेट करते हैं। हम तो इस ढंग से देखते हैं कि हमें बच्चे को एक पॉजिटिव सिटीज़न बनाना है, वेल इन्फॉर्म्ड बनाना है, जैसे मैंने बताया, और उसको कितनी अच्छी बातें बता सकते हैं हम, वो उस किताब का पर्पज़ है, इतनी छोटी-सी किताब का। उसमें सब चीज़ें नहीं आ सकती हैं। तो इसलिए ये घृणा, मार-काट, ये सब चीज़, इतिहास का मतलब ये सब चीज़ नहीं है। इतिहास का मतलब इवोल्यूशन है। कैसे सोसाइटी इवॉल्व होती है, कैसे आइडियाज़ इमर्ज करते हैं, कैसे सोसाइटी और आइडियाज़ मिलकर के ह्यूमन बीइंग को बेस्ट बनाते हैं, जो कि पूरे सोसाइटी के लिए काम आए, देश के लिए काम आए। वो पर्पज़ एजुकेशन का है, जो मैं समझता हूँ। मगर ये पर्पज़ नहीं है कि हम एक वायलेंट नागरिक पैदा करें और एक डिप्रेस्ड लोगों को पैदा करें, जो तनाव में रहें, जो प्रॉब्लम में आएँ। वो तनाव और समस्या और घृणा, हिंसा, वो सब पढ़ाने की विषय नहीं है। वो सब जिसको पढ़ना है वो कहीं से भी पढ़ सकता है, समझ सकता है। पर इतने छोटे 45-40 मिनट के पीरियड में इतनी छोटी किताब के माध्यम से क्या वो फ़ोकस होना चाहिए? इसलिए, और वो पढ़ाया जा रहा था। अब कोविड हुआ, उसमें फिर ये देखा गया कि क्या इसमें से कम किया जा सकता है, कम कर दिया। अब तो वो किताबें सब बदल जाएँगी, रिवाइज़ करने का मतलब नहीं है। अब एनईपी के हिसाब से किताबें बनी, जैसे मैंने बताया। अब 3 की किताब आ रही है, 6 की आ रही है, एकदम डिफरेंट किताबें हैं। लोग कहते हैं आप किताबें रिवाइज़ कर रहे हैं, रिवाइज़ नहीं कर रहे हैं, हम तो नई किताबें ला रहे हैं, क्योंकि नई एजुकेशन पॉलिसी आ गई है, नया करिकुलम बना है। हम उस करिकुलम के हिसाब से किताब बनाएँगे, हम पुराने करिकुलम के हिसाब से क्यों किताब बनाएँगे?
But so COVID happened 4 years back. We are almost 4 years later, and the that is also a fact that the new curriculum is being developed. Naturally, there will be new textbooks, but then why are these revisions being done like every 6 months? Like if already new textbooks are coming out, new curriculum is being developed.
It is annual practice. ये this is annual practice. I have said you that always our new books also, we have brought books last year, we have revised them. If there is some problem, we revise them. It is annual practice. So if it is for the new books, why it is not for the old books? It is for the old books. It is a practice. So as per that, if suppose Supreme Court has given the verdict in favor of Ram Temple, Babri Masjid or Janmabhoomi, it has given a verdict. That should not be included in our textbook. Should it not be included in our textbook? It should be included in our textbook. What is the problem in that? Means new verdict has come. Should we not inform our students about that? So if we are bringing that into there, what is the problem? If we have constructed new parliament, should our students know about? Should our students not know about that? It is our duty to include the recent developments, all recent developments. That is how we inform our students through these new developments. Whatever new happens, that becomes the part of curriculum somewhere at some point of time. So that is regular practice. So nothing special about this.
So, as you mentioned, that the curriculum is being developed, and there are a lot of panels that are making certain recommendations. A panel on social science curriculum, headed by CIS Haq, had recommended that the word India in the textbook should be now replaced with Bharat. What is the status on that?
Oh, it is interchangeable, nothing special about our constitution. Our position is what our constitution says about that. We uphold that. It is interchangeable. We can use Bharat, we can use India. What is the problem in that? no problem. We are not in that, we are not in that debate. We will use wherever we will use India, wherever it suits, we will use Bharat. We have no any aversion to India or no aversion to Bharat also. Both you are seeing in our textbooks, you open our new textbooks, you will find both. Depending on the context. So there is not, this debate is useless debate. I don't think this is any point there. Our constitution clearly says about that.
So there was a proposal for including Mahabharata and Ramayana in the textbooks. You yourself are an expert in Ramayana.
They are already there. Bal Ramayana is already taught there. Ramayana and Mahabharata are the part of our school syllabus earlier also. So if they were in earlier syllabus, why they will not be in the later syllabus? They had been there.
So in the same context, Vedic culture, should that be also be part of the curriculum?
It has been there. It has already been there. It will be again. Of course, Vedic civilization is the basis of our civilization. So as and when it is appropriate to bring that into textbooks, that will be done. But at what stage, what point of time, how much, that is being decided by the experts. And this process is going on. Writing the textbooks is going on. The experts are there. They will understand. From being a director of NCERT, I cannot dictate these things to experts. Experts are independent. That's why we are working with hundreds of people. CAGs have been formed. Experts are there. The curricular area groups, textbook committees, they are working on, and they are free to work. It is not from the top that we are imposing. I am not interfering in that process at all. So the experts are doing that, and they have the knowledge of NEP. They know what NEP says. They know what NCFs are, and how the books have to be prepared. A lot of people are working on that, and they will put the relevant things as per the mandate of NEP 2020. The books will be developed and are being developed, and so far we are getting very good feedback for the new textbooks. All the books will be of that kind.
So the Vedic civilization or culture is associated with the Aryans, and there is some debate over whether the Aryans are indigenous to this country or whether they came from Central Asia.
Aryan का मतलब क्या है? Aryan is not a race. Aryan means superior one. Physically, mentally, that's what. So the debate is going on there. Still it is going on there. In that reference, I quoted this Rakhi Gadi. I have given particularly this Rakhi Gadi, excavation, and Rakhi Gadi, the DNA test report is there open. So what that report says, that has to be taken in cognizance. And this debate will go on, and it will have, some, it will find some conclusion. Research is going on. More research is required. We have mentioned that in our textbook also. More research is required.
Sir, what about the National Achievement Survey to assess the school learning levels? For long, they have been considered sacrosanct methods to assess the ground situation. So, when is the next survey likely to be conducted?
We had SAS, State Achievement Survey, for the first time. And then for the first time, if we are having that, so now we will have alternative years. The next year we are going to have NAS. We are going to have NAS next year. And as per NEP, we are doing that. Competency is important. So NEP में क्या है? What is in NEP? We have LOs, learning outcomes. We have competencies. Our all learning teaching material is now being prepared, keeping in view the LOs and competencies. We are mapping that, and with that we are preparing all the material. So ultimate aim is to be competent through learning outcomes. So that is being done, and Parakh is for that. Parakh is working for that. The assessment should be holistic. So holistic progress cards have been developed, We are training the key resource persons for that, so that we had meeting with CBSE, and we are meeting different boards. We are trying to bring all the boards on board, so that the assessment method should be holistic, and it should be, the competency based. So that is the purpose, and that is going to be done. Yes.
So 1 year we'll have the state achievement survey. Next year,
Yeah.
we'll go to
Last year we had in November we conducted that.
Yes.
Now again this year we'll have the national
Yes.
achievement. Yes.
So this holistic report card, it's a very ambitious
Progress
project.
card, HPC.
Progress card, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very ambitious project.
Hmm.
By when can we expect it to be rolled out in schools?
As I have said that we have developed the holistic progress cards. Now the training part is there. We are training the key resource persons. The CBSE will train the teachers, and then when we are bringing out the new textbooks and syllabus, the assessment will be based on that. So it is being rolled out. It is being rolled out, and it is a gradual process. It will take place as and when we are bringing new textbooks. So new textbooks, based on that, the assessment will be done based on the HPCs, holistic progress cards.
Sir, NCRT has been given is deemed university status recently. What difference is it going to make in the functioning of the council, and what are the new offerings that council will be coming up?
Okay, NCRT, as you know, that is a premier organization in the field of school education. It is advising Government of India. It is preparing learning teaching material. It is giving training to teachers. So pedagogy, content development, research, all this is part of the NCRT. That will remain there. The need for being university was realized because we have RIEs also, Regional Institute of Education also. And our Regional Institute of Education, they have been running the teacher education programs, integrated teacher education programs from 60s onwards. Unique programs. In view of those programs, on the basis of that, the ITEP has been now developed, Integrated Teacher Education Program by NCT. So that is going to be the only teacher training program for the coming years. But NCRT has been doing that for a long time. So what is happening, NCRT is not a degree awarding body. We cannot grant degree. So what is happening, our RI Bhopal is A++, topmost, assessed by the NAC. But we are giving degree from Barkatullah University, because that RI is affiliated with Barkatullah University. Because we can't give degree, we are not degree granting body. So that is the problem there. Then state universities have different schedule, calendar of examination. Their examination syllabus is different. And we are preparing teachers for the nation. So we should have degree granting status. For that purpose, the letter of intention has been granted by Ministry of Education, Department of School Education and Literacy, and we are working on that. We are targeting a few very unique courses, 5 courses, PG courses at headquarters here at NCRT. As of now, we don't have classes here, we don't have students here.
So when should we expect NCRT offering new courses from Delhi?
As I said you that we are developing, so we expect that very soon we will be able to do that. I cannot say which date, but we are in the process of doing that.
This year, very soon would be this year, or?
Let us see.
You mentioned the assessment, pre-assessment, post-assessment. Will that assessment also become part of performance grading of teachers? And how the pattern that we see, that how parents send their children to schools?
That should be, I think, if event is there, effect should be there. We should assess what we have ultimately gained, and that gain is through the student only. And how competent teacher has become, if that should be reflected in the performance of the students, that should be there. That should be there. It should be formal part, pre-assessment, post-assessment. It will bring very, very, new effect, and it will really produce the competent teachers and competent students.
सर अभी सरकारी स्कूल का जो क्वालिटी है वो काफ़ी अच्छा हो गया है।
नहीं, सरकारी स्कूल की क्वालिटी बहुत अच्छी हो गई है, मगर प्रॉब्लम क्या हो गया कि सरकारी स्कूल में जो दूर दराज में मैंने देखा है, लोग स्कूल में बच्चे सरकारी स्कूल में भेज नहीं रहे हैं। वो इंग्लिश मीडियम के चक्कर में इतना ज़्यादा उनको इंग्लिश का उस प्रॉब्लम है कि इंग्लिश मीडियम स्कूल में भेजना है, कोई भी इंग्लिश मीडियम स्कूल है, बच्चे को वहाँ भेज देते हैं। मगर वो ये नहीं देख रहे हैं कि प्राइवेट स्कूल है, उसमें टीचर कितने हैं, कितने पढ़े लिखे हैं, उनकी ट्रेनिंग है कि नहीं है। सरकारी स्कूल में इतनी अच्छी ट्रेनिंग है, इतने क्वालिफाइड टीचर हैं, हाईली पेड टीचर हैं, वहाँ नहीं भेजते हैं। और ये सुसाइड से कम नहीं है, ये आत्महत्या जैसा काम है। आप NEP मातृभाषा आधारित शिक्षा की बात करिए। मातृभाषा आधारित शिक्षा क्यों? क्योंकि अगर आप माँ को नहीं समझेंगे और माँ की भाषा को नहीं समझेंगे तो माँ से जुड़ेंगे कैसे? अंग्रेजी पढ़ना ठीक है, अंग्रेजी समझना ठीक है, पर अंग्रेजी समझ करके पढ़ करके हम अपना खो दें, वो ठीक नहीं है। तो लैंग्वेज इज़ एन इनेबलिंग फैक्टर, ये इनेबल करता है, डिसेबल नहीं करता है। अभी तक हमने ये कोशिश की कि हम डिसेबल बन गए हैं, तो मल्टीलिंगुअल एजुकेशन के द्वारा वी आर ट्राइंग टू इनेबल आवरसेल्व्स।
You are a proponent of the new education policy. The government also has been pushing it. In case there is a future government which wants to completely rehaul the new education policy and bring in a new policy, would that be a step in the wrong direction, you would think?
I will not comment on that because at present what mandate we have, we are doing that and we will be able to do that. There is no problem, I think.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.